Getting bullied by armored players wasn't fun at all. I was about to rage quit until I seen this guy slaying an AFK player in front of me, but he didn't know I was behind him, so I took my opportunity and grabbed all of the dead guy's loot while this noob was still in his inventory. He didn't even notice until I was enough blocks away to run and equip the gear I picked up. Luckily, I was able to grab the full set of armor and a sword, so by the time he ran up on me, I was ready. The little guy was no match for the father of all fathers. Even with his OP sword, I somehow still managed to slay him. And I also had to take this little hacker out real quick. Don't mind him, he's just a noob hacker. But this guy must have been grinding for ages, because when I looked down, I noticed he had every resource I would ever need in the game, like netherwort, blaze rods, and sugarcane. And to top that off, when I took a closer look, this guy had my favorite sword ever, fire aspect 2 with sharpness 4 and no knockback. So I got a bit excited. In just 5 minutes, I somehow managed to become one of the richest players in the server. So now I'm on to finding some new victims. These 2 little guys thought it would be a good idea to try to take out the father of all fathers. I ran a bit to get behind a tree so they wouldn't see me popping a strength potion and a golden apple. So when they approached me, their plan didn't go too well at all for them. I ended up taking out this guy to the right first, easy peasy, and then proceeded to his little teammate. They were simply no match for my OP sharpness for sword and my extravagant PvP skill. I melted up some of their gold to make 2 more golden apples, and I gave this guy from earlier his loot back, but I still don't trust him because I have his sword. I noticed every time I stood still to type or check something, someone would hit me, but every time I turned around to look, I couldn't tell who it was, but it was doing a lot of damage per hit. So this guy is my main suspect. I acted like I was AFK again while in third person looking behind me, and I finally caught the little noob hitting me for no reason. Even after I gave him some loot back, he was still mad about earlier, so I had to take him out for good this time. I let the other little noobs have his loot though because my inventory is stacked. After him, this guy accepted my TP and instantly attacked me, so I returned the favor and it didn't go too well for him. After I slayed him, I offered his loot back, but he cried and said he is getting offline and I should too, lol. But now that I'm rich in like 10 minutes, I'm able to support the local noobs in the server and give them diamond armor and other good stuff. But on to my next little victims. These guys accepted my TP in a strip mine cave and attempted to 2v1 trap me in a small space. But little did they know, I'm the father of all fathers. That would never work on me. I ended up slaying one, and then the other little guy met the same fate as his friend. But I do respect him for fighting to death for his friend, because a lot of players just run on their teammates, lol. It's insane to think that I just joined this server about 15 minutes ago, and now my inventory is so full with good loot that I don't even know what to do with it at this point, lol. Take a look. And the craziest part about this is I was nice enough to have a good heart and give these little guys all of their loot back. I even gave them extra stuff like netherwort, blaze rods, sugarcane, and other potion materials.
A few moments later.
Surprise, motherfucker!
But when I acted like I was AFK for a second, the 2 little noobs decided to challenge their father, only to meet the same exact fate as earlier, but this time, they aren't getting the loot back. Instead, I gave it all to this little guy who seemed innocent, because he ran from me like I was gonna hurt him. So I hooked the little guy up with diamond armor and some nice potions materials also before sending a teleport to someone else. Sending TPs is always risky, because there are noobs like this in the game who TP trap. There was no point to slay the noob since he didn't have any loot for me. So I sent some other guys a TP request, and when they accepted it, they all jumped me in a cave mine. But little did they know, I was used to stuff like this. Back in my prime days, I used to verse 20 people at one time all by myself, so these little noobs didn't stand even the slightest chance of surviving my wrath. This sword is so overpowered so it makes the job 10 times more easy slaying these kids. 3 of them ended up getting away somehow or leaving the game, but at least I was able to slay 2 of them and get some extra loot.
Bye, have a great time.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Just think about it. How did I possibly get to this point in just 20 minutes, starting from zero? I'm literally so rich now that I'm hosting charity events for the poor and giving them all types of good armor and materials to make potions. I think this might have been the fastest come up in Minecraft history if you ask me. Just take a look at how happy these little noobs are. People think I'm an evil player, but that's only sometimes when my evil side kicks in. I have mixed personalities, as you'll see later on in the video when my evil side fully takes over. But for now, I'm on to slaying these 2 kids who are brave enough to accept the father of all fathers TP request, only to inevitably meet their fate to my sharpness for sword to their face. The little noobs were no match for the best Minecraft player of all time. They never saw it coming. One guy even ran on his teammates. But this next guy was one of the bullies when I was poor with no armor. So I unleashed my full wrath on him and made sure he wouldn't make it out alive. I logged his teammate first and then proceeded to quickly take his life for bullying me earlier. Remember earlier when I told you I have an evil side to me that I can't control? It just takes over sometimes. So I lured this e-girl into the hall with some potion material, and not to my surprise, she fell right for the trap.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I was trying to trap another noob, but that's when this guy teleported to me, and I was in my evil mode. So I instantly chased the little guy down. But he ended up combat logging in time before he died. So I was back to my evil deeds that must be done. Somehow I got the same girl to fall for the same trap. This just proves e-girls aren't the brightest beings. But then, after all this evilness, I was feeling nice for a second. So I gave the two girls some good loot like potion material and armor. But there was one problem. I didn't have enough armor for both of them, so they began to argue over who deserves the armor more.
A few moments later.
It turned into an all-out fight to death. The one girl has my OP sword that I gave her, so the other one is inevitably doomed and for some reason puts herself in a dirt trap and basically builds her own gravesite. This guy was kind of freaking me out a bit. He was staring at me very suspect. So before he made a move, I had to take him out.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I'm not sure why, but this random noob was confident enough to run up on the father of all fathers. He came like he was gonna put in some serious work on me, but ended up just logging out of the game, leaving his noob friend to try to avenge him. I didn't want to slay the noob, so I kept crouching to see if he would stop. But the little guy just kept hitting me over and over, so after letting him feel like he's doing something, I slayed him with ease. I found this little guy running from me in a cave. So I approached him and now he thinks I'm a nice guy, but little does he know I'm the most evil Minecraft player alive. He won't make it out of this cave to see his family ever again after I'm finished with him. Attempting this new noob trap idea, I made a small space to throw the loot in to trap them, but noobs have been evolving into smarter noobs, so it's been harder to get them to fall for it. He was an intelligent noob and attempted to break the cobblestone, so I came behind him with my TNT and attempted to take him out. But he is a level 7 noob, which are pretty smart, so he heard it ignite, moving out of the way and causing the other innocent noob to die in the process. Now I was forced to physically chase him down and put the little guy to rest for being too smart.